Does that record? Hi everyone, my name is Michelle Padilla and I'm here with Selena where I already messed up. I'm gonna edit this part.
Okay.
Hello everyone, my name is Michelle Padilla. I'm an admissions counselor here at the undergrad admissions office at the University of San Diego, and I'm so happy to be here with you all and to be here with Selena.
Hi, I'm Selena. I'm from San Jose, California, and I'm a junior majoring in computer science and double minoring in German and IT management.
Awesome. Thank you, Selena. And today we'll be presenting to you all about University of San Diego. We hope that you could envision your horizon here. And we'll be talking about the history, the academics, a little bit of financial aid, the clubs and organizations, and I'll be sharing my contact information just in case you guys have any questions. Feel free to email me at any time. And Selena will be sharing her experience as a current USD student. So let's start where it all started, the history of USD. Actually, I love the history of our campus because we were first a college for women. In 1949, the Society of Sacred Heart with Mother Rosalie Hill founded the College for Women. Then in 1954, Bishop Charles Francis Buddy founded the College for Men. And then a few years later, in 1972, the two colleges came together, they're merged together. And that's when the University of San Diego, the Roman Catholic institution, was founded. So we're a pretty young institution compared to other universities. And what does this mean to be a Catholic university? So the most important thing, it means that we want you to be well-rounded students. We want you to have a positive impact in your local communities and your global communities. And you will hear me throughout the presentation talking about being a change maker and having change maker qualities. So hopefully that gives you an idea that that's really important to us, and that's what we want to see from our applicants. And I'll talk more about that in just a minute. But I want to ask you, Selena, how have you felt going to USD? Because I get asked a lot, do you have to be Catholic to go to USD, or are you required to go to mass? Can you talk to me to us a little bit about our Catholic identity?
Yeah, so I'm personally not Catholic. So when I first was applying to USD, I thought it might be a little weird going to a Catholic school, even though I'm not Catholic myself, and that it might be a little pushed onto me. But it's actually very the opposite of that. So a lot of students aren't actually Catholic at USD, and going to mass is just a personal choice if you want to or not. And you do have to take two religion classes throughout your time at USD, but there's a lot of different options, so you don't have to take anything specifically related to Catholic. There's Jewish traditions and all these other classes that you can take. So it's a very relaxed and personal preference of what you want to study.
That's great that you share that, because actually when I was a student, so I also went to USD, I graduated in 2013. I took a class called Intro to World Religions, and I learned about Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, so about all the major religions all over the world. And it's actually one of those classes that to this day, I still remember the things that I learned from the class. And it's one of my favorite classes. But thank you, Selena, for sharing. And this is a picture of one of our chapels. And we do have two churches on campus, but like Selena was just saying, you're not required to go to mass, and you're not required to take any Bible study classes. You have the option to choose what theology course you would like to take. And I love this quote from Mother Rosalie Hill, one of our co-founders. She believed that beauty, truth, and goodness were really important to education. And I'm so happy that she believed that, because since that was her vision, her vision was to have a beautiful campus. That's what happened. We have a beautiful campus, and I'm so thankful for her that she believed that was really important, because she believed once you have a beautiful campus, it will attract students to come to USD. And then once on campus, they will find truth and goodness through education. And as you can see in this picture, it has very inspiring surroundings. We're number six most beautiful campus in the nation. we're actually up a hill, so we have a beautiful view of San Diego. We're really close to the bay. You can kind of see it out here in the horizon. And Mission Beach is one of like the most popular beaches that a lot of our students go to. Pacific Beach is over here. But yes, we have a beautiful campus. And a lot of people think University of San Diego is a small campus, but we're actually considered a mid-range institution. We have 5,919 students. So for some of you, that might sound like a lot. For some of you, that might sound like a little bit. The good thing though is that we do have our average class size is only 22 students. But Selena, I want to know from you, since you're a student right now, how do you feel about our campus size?
I think campus size was definitely one of the most important things I was looking at during my application process. And what's nice about USD is like whenever you're walking around campus, it's big enough to see different and new faces, but it's also small enough that every time you're walking around campus, you see at least 2 to 3 people that you already know. So you're constantly having familiar faces around. And even within your classes, since they're not so big, it's not very overwhelming. And like professors know your name. So you have that personal connection as well.
Yes, I also think it's like the perfect middle. And then for you to get an idea how you would feel when you're walking from class to class, you'll be meeting people from all over the nation. We have students coming from 47 different states. The only two states that we're missing are South Dakota and Delaware. So if you're from South Dakota or Delaware, or you know someone from South Dakota and Delaware, tell them to apply to USD. And we also have students coming from all over the world. 9% of our students are international, coming from 60 different countries. And actually at USD, we had a survey, we did a survey, and there's 30 different languages being spoken at USD in any day, which I think is amazing because I love learning from different cultures and meeting people from all over the world. And 38% of our students identify as students of color and 40% identify as Catholic. That means 60% are either a different faith background or no faith background. And now talking about our academics, so we are a liberal arts institution. What that means and why we believe in the liberal arts tradition is because once you graduate, we want you to be a well-rounded student. So the first 2 years, you'll be taking classes in what we call the core curriculum. So you'll be taking classes like right now in high school, where you take science, math, you will have some requirements. And then usually you will start focusing in your major, your junior and your senior year. If you were like me when I was 16, 17, 18, I had no idea what I wanted to major in. So when I was looking for different universities, I really love USD because when you're applying to USD, you're applying to University of San Diego as a whole, and you're not applying to a specific college. So you could actually come in as an undeclared major and it does not affect you whatsoever because you have into your second semester of sophomore year to declare your major, which I think it's amazing. And even if you do know what your major is, it's still really good for you to take classes in different subjects because let's say if you're a psychology major, you'll still be required to take English classes or a history class, and you'll have the knowledge to how to write a proper essay. You also know a little bit of history or a little bit of math, and it just makes you a much more well-rounded student, like I said. And again, our average class size is 22 students, and all our classes are taught by professors. This is something that in high school, I never even thought about asking different universities. I just thought every university, every class is always taught by professors, but that's not the case. If you attend to one of the bigger universities, sometimes they have their teacher assistant or their graduate assistant teaching the class. Selena, can you talk to me a little bit or tell us a little bit about that student to faculty ratio at USD?
Yeah, so one of my favorite things about USD is that you get to, like, whenever you're in class, you get to directly be with the professor and learn from the professor. And since the class sizes aren't too big, every professor knows your name and you can go to office hours and have like a personal connection. Like, I know last semester I had a class with only 3 other students. So then I had a really close connection with my professor, which ended up being really beneficial because it was easier to communicate and having that close relationship. So even now, like if I go back to that professor in future classes, I already have that kind of contact and it makes it a lot easier to like learn content and all that.
Yes, you just get that close knit experience, and like you said, it really supports you. Even though it's a really great thing, even in the long run, when you need letter recommendations, or you need someone, or if the professor knows of a job offer or something like that, they have such great relationships with the students where they could share that. Great. And then to continue talking about academic excellence at USD, research is available to all students. You don't have to be a science major to do research. And we do have an honors program. This is by invitation only if you want to be part of it since your first year. We invite the top 10% of students to apply to the honors program. The benefits of being in it is that your classes are even smaller than the 22 average class size. Your classes tend to range about 14 students. And then also you have two professors teaching one class. So you're getting two different perspectives teaching one subject. If you are part of the honors program, you'll be living in the living learning community called Illuminate. And what our living learning communities are, they're different communities according to what passion you have, and you will get a questionnaire, and then from that questionnaire, the housing department will be able to place you in a living learning community. And I actually went to USD my second year, and I never lived on campus. But Selena, did you live on campus? And can you tell us a little bit more about that experience living in a living learning community?
Yeah, so I was on campus both my freshman year and my sophomore year. And my freshman year, the living learning community that I was in was Advocate, which basically just focuses on like social justice and everything related to that. So the class that I took my first semester at USD was also Intro to World Religions. So I learned about how all these different religions relate back to social justice. And then I also took a gender studies course. So then at the end of the first year, you have like a fair kind of where every first year student talks about their LLC experience and you connect your first semester and your second semester LLC classes to your LLC and like as a general and you just talk about how those two classes relate to your LLC. And like for me, I talked about how my gender studies course and my religion course relate back to social justice and how we can see the connection between them. So it varies for every first year student, but everybody has to do the LLC fair at the end of the year where you talk about what you learned throughout your first year.
And would you say that being well, we do have an on-campus housing requirement. You have to live on campus your first and your second year. But did you find having the living learning communities in place, what did it make it easier for you to create those long-lasting friendships? Like, do you still have friends this day that you met through your LLC?
Yeah, I still like a lot of the people I met my first year through the LLC, I'm still friends with now. And I think it made it easier to meet new people because when you're in the LLC, you're surrounded by people who have similar interests as you. So that way you're also in the same classes. So then it's easier for you to meet those people and you're living by them. So it's easier to stay in contact with them as well.
That's great. I always wish that I did live on campus, but since I came in a little later, I didn't. But the living learning communities sound amazing. And now that we talked a little bit about academics and living on campus, it's really important for you to do so well and to do well in your classes and to excel in academics. But as important it is to be involved on campus, because we think that being happy in the clubs and the organizations that you're part of is going to help you do really good in your classes. And our students, I would say, are really involved. 75% of our students are part of a club or entrepreneur sport, and we are a Division I athletic school. This is Diego the Torero. He is our mascot. When I was a student, I would go to some sporting events only because USD always gives amazing freebies. They will give like USD beanies, USD scarves. But yeah, I would love going to the different sports. And We do have over 30 cultural organizations. We have something called the Commons that's in our SLP building on the third floor. I think I haven't been on campus in a while now. I think it's on the third floor. And we had the LGBT plus and allies office there, the Women's Common, the Black Student Resource Center, and the United Front Multicultural Center. Selena, have you been involved in any of these different offices that we have on campus?
Yeah, I've been involved with the Black Student Resource Center, and they usually always have events to go to, which is really nice because then you can meet more people and like you have a place to go to and you have a community that you can build. And since all of the like the commons are connected throughout, you can just walk through and go to each commons, which is really easy and like you get to meet even more new people. And I think joining or like attending the BSRC events made it easier to like take advantage of resources. Like one thing they have is free printing, and there's also like advising and people to just talk to if you need a counselor or something. So it's really great to take advantage of those opportunities.
Yes, I remember when I was a student, I was very involved with student support services, which most students call SSS at USD. And it's a program for first generation students or students coming from lower income families. And like you said, like I love that I could print there for free. And they had academic advisors and financial aid advisors where I just felt really comfortable because most of the spaces have like couches and they just make you feel like you're at home and you could open up with the administrators and the staff who work in these offices. I was also involved with the center called the Movanian Center. They do the I hope I remember community service and award no Center for Awareness and Social Action. There we go. And they do a lot of the programming that happens across the border because USD is only 30 minutes away from Mexico. And this is something I didn't talk about earlier, actually. We're very centrally located. We're only 15 minutes away from the airport. We're 10 minutes away from the beach or 15 minutes. What would you say, Selena?
Yeah, somewhere around 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, depending on traffic, but it's really close. You could go on a hike close to USD. Yeah, we're really centrally located, and like I said, the Mexican border is only 30 minutes away. So through this center that I was usually at, it was literally my second home. We would do trips to Tijuana, Mexico. We would do a lot of community engagement there. And we like to say at USD that our students are truly global citizens and they're change makers. And that's what we like to see from our applicants. This is a good slide if you want to take a picture of. Maybe we should kind of like pose if somebody wants to take a screenshot. But we are part of the Ashoka organization. The Ashoka is a worldwide organization, and they give this title to different elementaries, high school, universities, companies, nonprofits, and we're one of the 45 universities in the world that we could proudly say that we're a change maker campus. What that means is that we're committed to these five things: social justice, social innovation, entrepreneurship, sustainability, and global perspective. So if you're kind of blinking out, I know being a senior in high school, you have so much to do, and then you have to worry about college applications, writing your essays. Who am I going to ask to write a letter of recommendation for me? But one tip that I give you, if you're applying to USD, which I hope you do, these are great topics to talk about. Because if we as admission counselors, we see somebody who's a big advocate in a social justice issue, or who has an idea of a social innovation or an idea to become an entrepreneur, a vision of something you want to do in the future, open a business. While I'm reading your application, I would say like, wow, Selena is a great fit at USD. She's going to fit perfectly. She's a great student. And it just makes your application so much stronger. And what I like to tell students, if it's something that you haven't done but you're thinking about it and you have an idea of doing it in the future, or when you're at USD, you could also write about that. It doesn't have to necessarily be something that you already did. we have a really cool and a really cool challenge. And I don't know if you know the name Selena Fowler. I didn't look it up before doing this presentation, which I should have, but it's like a Shark Tank kind of thing. If anybody has ever seen that show where you pitch your business idea and then there's different investors, and if you win, you get a lot of money, and then you could create the idea that you had. And they do this every year, and it's amazing because you could do it as an undergrad student. And actually my fiance won in 2015, so I should know the name of it, but I don't remember right now. um and we are always ranked top 10 in the nation for study abroad participation. As part of our global perspective, being global citizens, we're ranked number 5 in the nation. I would say 90% of our students study abroad. You even feel, I remember when I was in high school, I always knew I wanted to travel, but I didn't really put the two of them together, that I wanted to study and travel at the same time. Then when I became a student at USD, it was such the norm that everyone was studying abroad that I was like, oh my gosh, I need to study abroad too. And I did. I went to Jamaica for a summer. So you could actually do a summer program, which is 3 weeks, a summer or winter intersession. We also have that program in the winter break. Or you could do a semester or year-long program. So it's up to you how long you want to do it. I had never left the US, and I'm Mexican. I've been to Mexico as well, but I felt kind of I wasn't ready to do a whole semester program. So I chose to do Jamaica, and I don't regret it because I had the time of my life. I was taking a sociology course. I loved the course, and it actually had a service learning component to it, the class. So what that means is the class required you to immerse yourself in the community in some way. So I would go every day to a local elementary and just learn from the teacher, be there with the teacher, do arts and crafts with the kids. And it was really fun, and I actually loved it so much that I continue, and I don't think you know this, Selena, I continued going for 5 summers in a row after my initial study abroad program. My family thought I was crazy, but I love Jamaica, and I love the town we were in. So I really advise everyone to study abroad. If you are thinking of being a business major, we have a double degree program where you will do half of your studies at USD, and then the other half in one of our partner universities, and you will receive 2 degrees, which is really a great opportunity for those students who want to major in business. And then we have the USD Madrid Center. It's literally University of San Diego in Madrid, Spain, with USD professors and USD students. Also great. I would say it's also a great program if you're feeling a little intimidating of going abroad to a new country. It will make you feel like you're in your home university, but you're in a different country, which is amazing. And Selena, I know COVID got in the way and you haven't been able to study abroad, but is there anywhere you would like to go? Have you thought about it?
I was thinking about going to Italy, and I think that there is going to be a computer science class in the summer that's going to be taught in Italy.
Yeah.
So, depending on the situation, I might end up doing that. So, we'll see how that goes.
Hopefully we're all praying and hoping. So now that Selena and I talked about how it feels to be a torero, remember that's our mascot, Diego the Torero. I want to share with you the logistics, how to get you to come to USD and be a student at USD. We only have one application deadline, which is December 15. It's easy to remember because we don't have early admissions, we don't have rolling admissions. It's just that December 15 deadline. And for you to get an idea of our numbers, our last incoming class, we had 13,000 students applying, a little bit more than 13,000 students applying to USD. Our acceptance rate was 57%. And then we had 1,013 students entering as first year students. our application requirements, we are part of the Common App, just like 900 other universities in the US. We want to make it as easy as possible for our students to apply to USD. Using the Common App, you could apply to up to 20 universities. If you do choose to apply to USD, you will have to write this extra essay for us, and you will have to answer one of the USD member questions. And I will give you what the questions always stay the same every year. So they are, what living learning community would you like to live in? So Selena talked a little bit about that. What makes you a change maker? So that slide that I told you to take a screenshot of, if you choose to answer that question, that will be a good slide to look at. And then the third question that you could choose is, why would you like to attend a Roman Catholic institution? So if you have a strong faith background or you're very involved in your church, maybe that will be the perfect question for you to answer. And then of course your personal essay, and this is the website commanapp.org. And then we do look at your official high school transcript. We look at your 9, 10, and 11 grades. Sometimes we do look at your first semester of your 12 year. So don't have too much fun. Keep up your grades. Keep up taking those challenging courses. We do love seeing students with that upward trend. So if you didn't have the strongest semester, if you didn't have, or maybe you had to take you took a math class where you didn't do your best, but the next semester you did amazing. We do see those, we notice that, and we like to see the upward trend again. Then take the most challenging courses that your high school is offering. We do research in every single high school. So if your high school is offering 5 AP classes, try to take 3 AP classes, and that will tell us like, wow, Selena really takes her academics really serious. She's taking 3 AP classes out of the 5. So we take notice in all those things. Then we require 1 academic letter recommendation, even though we only require 1. The one that we require needs to come from either a teacher or a counselor, so somebody who knows you inside the classroom. You are welcome to submit more than 1. You could submit 2, you could submit 3. That second one, you could ask, maybe you work at Starbucks part-time. You could ask your supervisor, and they could talk about, you're such a hard worker, you're always on time, or if you're in the swimming team, or if you're in ASB, you could ask a mentor to write the second or the third one. Then if you're an international student, we ask you to take the official TOEFL and have a minimum score of an 80, or the IELTS and have a minimum score of a 6.5. Again, this is for international applicants only. We do have an application fee of $55. Please ask your high school counselors. They usually have fee waivers for you, but if your high school counselor does not cannot help you with the fee waiver, don't hesitate to email me and I'll be happy to grant you a fee waiver. And I will give you my email at the end of the presentation. And Selena, let me ask you, what is something that you see that when you apply, it was required, but it's not required anymore?
I don't see.
Go.
I'm going to say I don't see the SAT or the ACT.
Yeah. Virtual high five. Yeah, we're not requiring test scores. So if you're a high school senior, for this cycle, we are a test blind institution. So we're not looking at your scores whatsoever. This is for current high school seniors. We understand that we're living in a pandemic, and it's a lot of the SAT and the ACTs keep getting rescheduled. So we just decided to be test blind this current cycle. One of the reasons why we could be test blind is because we look at your application holistically. And these are the things that we look at. We look at your academic achievement through your GPA. So again, your transcript. And for you to get an idea of what the last class came in with, the middle 50%, so some students had a higher GPA, some students had a lower GPA. The middle came with a 3.83 to a 4.24. If you do have a lower GPA, I was one of those students, I had a lower GPA than that, I would still encourage you to apply to USD if you have a lot of the changemaker qualities. because your academic achievement is really important, but your change maker qualities, being a change maker campus, is as important. So please don't sell yourself short. If you're involved in your community, if you have a leadership role in a club, an organization, or even in your own house with your house responsibilities, if you have a global perspective, if you speak multiple languages, if you grew up with multiple cultures, or even if you didn't grow up with multiple cultures, but you took it out of your own will to learn about another culture, maybe you could talk about that. If you're an advocate to different social justice issues, if you have a role of faith, if you are, again, if you're involved in in community engagement, those are really important. And then we look at your personal qualities through your letter of recommendation and your essay. Then transfer admission. So we do have a pathway for students who want to transfer to USD. I was a transfer student. So I actually went to community college my first year, and then I transferred to USD my second year. So maybe if you want to go to community college first, or you chose to go to a different four-year university and you realize this is not the school for me, I want to try it one more time and now apply to USD. You could come in as early as your second year, which is great. Not a lot of universities allow that. The eligibility requirements are you need to be a competitive applicant, you need to have at least a 3.0 GPA and at least 24 transferable units. We do suggest, if you're thinking of transferring to USD, to try to take the USD core curriculum courses, which are like college algebra, English composition, and literature. And if you're planning to be a business major, try to take business courses like marketing, those kind of classes. The moment that you realize you want to transfer to USD, I would advise you to connect with our transfer counselor. His name is Andrew, and I will let you know at the end of the presentation. I will tell you his email so you could contact him. And one of the big difference is the application deadline's a little bit different. Selena, do you remember when the application deadline was for first year students? Quiz.
I think you have to get it in by December 15th.
Yes, December 15th is for first year students. So a student that goes from high school directly to USD, December 15th. For transfer, so somebody who went to community college or four-year university, your application deadline will be March 1st for the fall, and for the spring, it will be October 1st. Great. And now the big scary slide, at least it was scary for me. I'm a first generation student. That means that my parents didn't go to college. I'm also the oldest sibling, so I was the first sibling going to college. And when I was looking at different universities, especially when I was looking at the private universities, I realized it was going to be a huge investment for me to go to a private university, but I wanted that quality education. So the cost of attendance at USD is $52,120. Room and board, and let me move. There we go. Room and board estimated is $15,156. What does room and board mean? A lot of people don't explain it. A lot of students don't know what that means. Room is your dorms and board is your meal plan. And it says estimated because there's different plans. So this is the most expensive one you could choose, the $15,156, and from there it could go lower. Even though it's about $67,000 to attend to USD, we're very fortunate being a private institution. We do have a lot of scholarships for our students. 76% of our students receive some financial aid assistance, and the average award is $35,000. So it's half of the cost of attendance. And let me explain to you some of the scholarships and financial aid assistance you could get. So you could get a merit scholarship. And this is where I tell students, do not sell yourself short in your application, because your admissions application is the same application we will use to see if you are a candidate for a merit scholarship. So if you fall in the top 40% of the incoming class, you will automatically receive a scholarship that ranges from $18,000 to $25,000. And you could maintain the scholarship every year until you graduate if you maintain a 3.0 GPA. So it is a renewable scholarship. What are the things that we look at to see if you fall in the top 40%? Now that we're a test blind institution, of course, we don't look at your test scores. We look at your academic achievement through your GPA, and then we look at your change maker qualities. Once again, really important. Then university scholarship. Those are the scholarships that different departments at our university, that different departments have. So for example, ROTC, USD ministry, the music department, if you're an athlete. So we have many different ones that you could find on our website if you want to visit us, sandiego.edu. And on the little search bar, if you just type university scholarship, you will find a list of them. Outside scholarships are those third-party scholarships, so like Starbucks, McDonald's, Gates Scholarship. So the scholarships that you look on your own and you apply for them. They tend to be draining. It takes a lot of time. I don't know if you remember, Selena, when you were a senior, but I always tell students, don't ever, even you, Selena, right now, don't ever stop applying for scholarships until the day you graduate from university. Because even if it's $500, even if it's $300, that's going to help you pay for your rent, help you buy your books, and just continue. Make it a homework. Tell yourself every semester I'm going to at least apply to one of them, or every month, even better, I will apply to at least one of them. And there's a lot of them that no students apply for them because, like I said, they're draining and students don't apply for them. So if you're the only one, that means you're going to get it. So continue applying for outside scholarships. And then you can see me being very passionate about that because I keep getting my desk. The need-based financial aid is the FAFSA, which is the free application for student aid. And it's free, like the title. It's not a requirement, but it's free. So I always tell students, do it. It's free. So this is support you will receive according to your family's income. So they might federally, they might be able to award you like work study award, which means that you'll be able to work on campus and be getting paid like a normal job. Or you could be offered grants, or you could be offered loans. Maybe that's something that you will need to take out. So the priority deadline is March 2nd of your senior year. So you have to be a senior to be able to apply for it. But apply for it before the deadline, before March 2nd. We also have a lot of support for undocumented students and our dreamers. So if you are an undocumented student or a dreamer, I'll be really happy to support you. I'm actually the counselor who supports our undocumented and dreamers. So please take my email and I will let you know again at the end of the presentation. And Selena, I want to take a drink of water. Can you share a little bit of how USD has supported you financially?
Yeah, so my first year, I got a university scholarship, and then since USD also has a lot of scholarships through like private donors and all of that, I also applied through USD to get like specific scholarships. So there's like different categories, and if you qualify for any of them, you just apply for it, and usually you get like between, I think it was like 2,000 to 4,000, and there's also like a scholarship questionnaire that you fill out every year, and then that also enabled me to get more scholarships. But another thing I did my freshman year was I applied to appeal my financial aid, so that also helped me get more aid than I did before. So it doesn't hurt to try to do a financial aid appeal, and you can do it as many times as you need, so there's no limit in doing that also.
I'm so happy that you mentioned that because that's something else I always tell students, and I've realized it now more that I'm working in the administrator side, that I tell students, like, always advocate for yourself, appeal, write emails, find that one administrator, the one professor that could help you out when you need help. Don't be embarrassed to share your story or to ask for help, because that's the only way you're going to get it if you look for those resources. So I'm so happy that you share that, because yeah, if you receive your financial aid award and you still need more support, you could appeal and you could explain your situation. Race.me is a great website. So that's a website, race.me, please visit it. Is a website that will help you, that will give you micro scholarships according to your high school accomplishment and your awards. So let's say you were a captain of the swimming team in ASB, you received an A in one of your AP classes. You will input all these awards and success that you have had through high school. And the reason why we have partnered up with them is because we hear from students that a lot of times they think they're not change makers, but once they start inputting all these awards and accomplishments, they realize, like, oh my gosh, I am a leader, I am a change maker. So it encourages you to see those key traits that we want to see in your application. So race.me, and the deadline to finish your profile is December 1st. So make sure if you're a senior to go to race.me before December 1st and then input all your accomplishments and your awards. Then this is a slide that I always tell students you should be asking every college representative that you meet, or any college. Well, now because of the pandemic, we're not able to visit colleges, but how is a university going to support you after you graduate or when you're a student to figure out what you're going to do after graduation? Because a lot of us, at least I could talk about myself, Selena, you could share you, but I went to USD because I wanted to have my dream job and I wanted to get paid well and not struggle after graduation. Other students, maybe they want to go to grad school, they want to go to med school, they want to join the Peace Corps. But as you saw right now in our slide, it is a big investment to go to receive a bachelor. So you want to make sure that the university you choose to attend helps you with your professional success and helps you figure out, what am I going to do after receiving my BA? And we have a great department, the Career Development Center. And I think it's so unique. I don't know if you ever thought about this, Selena, but the admissions office and the Career Development Center, they're in the same building. And I think it's really cool how it's one building that supports like incoming students, and it's also helping the students who are about to graduate. And I'm sure USD did that on purpose, but I just think it's really significant that they put these two departments in the same building. So the Career Development Center, they help you build your resume. They help you figure out what to wear for an interview. They help you look for internships. And something really cool that they also have is they have scholarships for internships. So let's say you want to do an internship that's in New York and you're currently living in San Diego. You could apply for this internship, and if you get it, they will help you pay for your rent. Meanwhile, like your summer internship or your winter intersession, and they could also help you buy professional clothes, because those are things that we, of course, when we're students, we want to get experience and we want to do as many internships as possible. But for some of us, it's not as easy as it sounds like, because as you know, you're usually not paid when you're doing an internship, and you can't just say, I'm going to do this for 2 months, when you have to think like, what am I going to eat? So it's so helpful that the Career Development Center has thought about these things, and they have scholarships for students. We also have something called the Torero Treks, and this is field trips basically to the big organizations like Amazon, Starbucks, Google. And before pandemic, right now everything is virtual, but before pandemic, USD students would go there with USD administrators and visit these big companies and get advice and tips and meet the CEOs and meet the administrators. So if they're thinking of applying after USD or right before they're graduating, they will have inside information of what they look for their applicants. And then if you would like to see more of outcomes according to the major or what you want to study, please visit sandiego.edu/career outcomes. And you'll see here a lot of statistics and numbers, but one of my favorite one, even though it's not in the 90s, it's pretty high. 77% of our students receive a job offer before they graduate. So I think this is amazing, because you might feel stressed right now that you're a high school senior, but when you're a senior in university, when you're about to graduate, you might feel the same way, because you're trying to figure it out. Am I going to grad school? Am I going to get a job? So it's great to know that 77% of our students already know what they're going to do even before they walk through that through the ceremony. Do you have anything to say, Selena? Do you know anyone who's been part of the Torero treks or internships?
I don't know anything specifically, but I know that every school has a specific number of career points that you need to have. So like some classes are like 9 points, and you also have to do other requirements, and you need to fulfill all of those in order to graduate. So getting like all the career readiness programs done is a major requirement.
Yeah, I totally forgot about it's called Passport, I think. Yeah. And it's another way that the Career Development Center is encouraging students to go to networking events and different events to help with their professional success. Thank you for sharing that, Selena. And sadly, we are almost finished. So if you would like to connect with us, please take a picture of this QR code on the top right side and it will take you to our social media pages. Yes, we have Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I know a lot of students your age don't do Facebook anymore, but if your parents want to follow us on Facebook, and Selena and I are part of SOAR. Do you want to explain really fast what SOAR is, Selena?
Yeah. So SOAR stands for Student Outreach and Recruitment. And basically what SOAR does is we work with the undergraduate admissions office to create more diversity on campus and also retain diversity. So we host a lot of events, and like one of our biggest events that we usually have is Me at USD, where we have a certain number of admitted students, and they come onto campus for a weekend, and they get a host who's a current student, so they get to see what it's like to go to USD for a weekend. So you can attend classes, and there's also different events going on. You can learn about your financial aid and talk to advisors. So that's usually one of the biggest events that we do, and that's what I did before I chose to go to USC. And that is the reason why I ended up choosing to go to USC. So it's a really big event, and although this year is going to be virtual, I think it's still something to look forward to.
And can you share our Instagram page just in case people want to
Yes.
follow us?
So our Instagram is at USD underscore SOAR. So USD underscore SOAR.
Thank you, Selena. And if you would like to join our mailing list, please take a picture of this QR code. Right now, during COVID and the Zoom world, as you could tell, we love QR codes. I'll give you a second just in case you haven't done so. Screenshot, take a picture. And then this last slide is a really big picture of me. Again, my name is Michelle Padilla. I'm an admissions counselor for multicultural recruitment. My email is and then my last name Padilla at sandiego.edu. If you have any questions about the application process or you want to learn more about USD, I'm always happy to respond to your email or schedule a one-on-one Zoom call, even if it's with your family, your parents. I'll be happy to give you more information. And thank you for allowing Selena and I to do this recording for you. As you could tell, we love USD, so we love doing these kind of things. And yes, any last words, Selena?
I don't think so. I hope to see some of your faces on campus soon.
Great. And I was lying. That was not the last slide. This is the last slide. Please take a screenshot if you would like of this slide, but I had mentioned I would tell you who our transfer counselor is. So that's Andrew. And this is his email. If you're interested in ROTC, Scott Yainer would be the counselor that will support you. And then Connor supports our incoming athletes. But other than that, please feel free to email me. I'm here, Michelle Padilla. I'll be happy to support you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And like Selena said, we hope to see you on campus one day. Bye-bye. How do I stop recording? I will definitely have to edit this. After stopping, you receive an email.